Hello and good morning. You're watching Doordarshan News and this is the news for Hearing Impaired. I am Nancy Kohli and with me is Sonu. Let's begin with the headlines. Section 144 imposed in Srinagar and Jammu. All the educational institutions to remain closed in Srinagar, Jammu, Doda and Poonch. Home Minister Amit Shah holds high-level review meeting on internal security. The National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, Home Secretary and other senior officials take part in the meeting. Unnao rape accused MLA Kuldeep Singh Sengar along with a co-accused to be produced before the Delhi court today. The Supreme Court to resume hearing in the matters related to the heinous crime. Prime Minister Modi calls upon the BJP MPs to adopt the politics of positivity and try to win the trust of all the sections of society. The Prime Minister addresses the concluding session of the two-day training program of the BJP MPs. Heavy rains disrupt normal life in several parts of Maharashtra and Gujarat. Mumbai faces severe waterlogging. All the schools to remain closed in Mumbai, Pune and several adjoining districts. Several areas of South Gujarat face the rain fury. And in cricket, India win the second T20 match against the West Indies by 22 runs through Duckworth-Louis method as the bad weather stops the play. Our top story, in Jammu and Kashmir, security has been stepped up at the vital installations and in sensitive areas in the state. Section 144 has been imposed in Jammu, Riyasi, Udhampur and Srinagar. According to orders issued by the authorities, the classwork of all the schools, colleges and academic institutions, both private and government, shall remain suspended for Riyasi as a precautionary measure from today till further orders. In view of the prevalent conditions and as a precautionary measure, all the schools and the colleges of District Doda are to remain closed on the 5th and the 6th of August. While in Poonch, all the schools, colleges and academic institutions, both private and government, have been advised to remain closed as a measure of caution. The Air India further reduced its maximum fare on flights connecting Srinagar to Delhi to under 7,000 rupees for facilitation of the Amarnath Yatris and tourists leaving Kashmir following Friday's government security advisory. The fare cap shall remain in place till 15th August. The Civil Aviation Ministry had advised the state carrier Air India to keep fares from Srinagar in check as the Amarnath pilgrims and tourists rushed to the airport after the Jammu and Kashmir administration asked them to curtail their stay in the state. The condition of Kashmiri separatist leader Yasin Malik, who is lodged in the Delhi's Tihar jail, is absolutely fine. The Tihar prison DG Sandeep Goel said that rumors regarding his health are completely false. Malik is currently in jail in connection with the terror funding cases. Home Minister Amit Shah held a meeting with the top security officials. However, what transpired in the meeting is not known. The hour-long meeting was attended by the National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, the Union Home Secretary Rajiv Gauba and other senior officials. The administration of Jammu and Kashmir, which is under President's rule, has ordered the curtailment of annual Amarnath Yatra and asked the pilgrims and tourists to leave the Kashmir Valley, citing terror threat. And reacting to the situation in Jammu and Kashmir, the BJP spokesperson Shahnawaz Hussain said that the people of Jammu and Kashmir need not panic as the government is concerned about the developments there. He added people should not pay heed to rumors spread by the Congress and the PDP. Moving on now, the rape accused Uttar Pradesh MLA Kuldeep Singh Sengar and his accomplice Shashi Singh will be produced before a Delhi court today. The duo will be produced in the court in the pursuance of an order to district judge. The court has also issued production warrants against the other accused in the case for their presence tomorrow. The case pertains to the rape of a minor girl allegedly by the lawmaker at his residence in Unnao on 4th of June 2017, where she had gone to seek a job. He was lodged in Sitapur district jail in Uttar Pradesh. Sengar was expelled from the BJP last week. The accused Shashi Singh had allegedly lured the victim into going to Sengar's residence. A few days earlier, Sengar and 9 others were booked for murder by the CBI after the rape survivor and the advocate were injured when a truck hit their car in Raebareli. Her 2 aunts were killed in the accident. The rape survivor's family alleged foul play. The 2-day Abhyas Varg training program for the BJP parliamentarians concluded on Sunday with Prime Minister Modi asking the lawmakers to stay positive and devote time to their families. The Prime Minister also told the MPs to focus their energies on positive work and positive thinking. The training session was aimed at instilling discipline among the MPs and sensitizing them on their conduct inside and outside Parliament. Home Minister and the BJP National President Amit Shah, Defence Minister and senior BJP leader Rajnath Singh and the party's working president JP Nadda were among those who addressed the party lawmakers. The resident doctors of the AIIMS have called off their strike after Union Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan met a delegation of the doctors of the AIIMS and the Safdarjung Hospital. During the talks, the minister said that the National Medical Commission Bill is the biggest reform in the field of medical education. He also said that 130 crore people will be benefited as better medical treatment and services can be provided with the enactment of the legislation. The Chief Justice of India, Justice Ranjan Gogoi, has said that around 4,000 posts have been filled of 6,000 vacancies in the trial courts across the country, while adding that 1,500 more vacancies will be filled up by the end of this year. On the weather front, rains continue to disrupt normal life in several parts of Maharashtra on Sunday. Hundreds of people have been evacuated from Mumbai, Raigad, Thane and Pune districts following flooding to overflowing rivers. Power outages have been reported across Thane and Palghar districts, coupled with the incidents of landslides even at the railway tracks. On the receipt of a request from the Disaster Management Unit of Maharashtra, the Indian Navy deployed 3 fully equipped flood rescue teams within 40 minutes of the request to assist Thane district consequent to flooding due to incessant rains and the overflowing of Bhatsa and Barvi dams, leading Bhatsa and Ulhas rivers to break their banks, stranding people in their houses. And heavy rains continue to lash for Dodra and Gujarat on Sunday, though the situation had eased considerably even as the water level in Vishwamitri River was receding, and almost 500 millimeters of rainfall on Thursday last week led to the river breaching its banks and flooding the city, leaving residential colonies cut off and crocodiles swimming on the waterlogged streets. The Indian Air Force on Sunday airlifted 45 persons stranded in the flood-hit village in Navsari district in South Gujarat. Over 5,000 people were shifted from low-lying areas in Navsari since early Sunday morning due to surge in the water levels of Ambika and Purna rivers due to heavy rains. Indian Air Force helicopters rescued 31 village residents in the first round, while another chopper rescued 14 stranded more villagers in the next round. And the continuing heavy floods in Godavari River affected over 74,000 people in the parts of East and West Godavari districts in Andhra Pradesh, with nearly 18,000 of them being shifted to relief camps. A second warning signal was issued at Sir Arthur Cotton Barrage as the water flow in the river crossed the 13 lakh cusecs mark on Sunday morning. However, there was no casualty that was reported, and the teams of the National Disaster Response Force and the State Disaster Response Force reached out to the affected areas with the essential supplies and food. The State Disaster Management Authority said that the power supply remained cut off while the road and communication network were badly damaged in the two districts. Heavy rains and flash flood caused great damage in the Bhuntar town of Kullu district yesterday. Life came to a standstill after the roads leading to the Ambedkar Nagar area got damaged following the heavy rainfall. The situation may further worsen as the Indian Met Department in its weather forecast predicted heavy to very heavy rainfall in the isolated places in Himachal Pradesh over the next 5 days. The Uttar Pradesh government shunted out the district magistrate and the superintendent of police Sonbhadra besides ordering action against 13 other officials after they were indicted in an inquiry into the killing of 10 people last month. Addressing a press conference at his residence, Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath said that FIRs will be registered against several police and administration officials for alleged irregularities and the members of the Adarsh Krishi Sahakari Samiti Umba on the charges of land grabbing. Hundreds of thousands of Muslims began arriving in Mecca ahead of the Hajj pilgrimage. Over 16 lakh pilgrims had arrived in Saudi Arabia for the Hajj that begins on the 9th of August. The pilgrims are residing in both Mecca and Medina. Tight security has been deployed to ensure safety of pilgrims before the start of the official Hajj activities. In order to ensure the safety of pilgrims, Saudi Arabian security forces took part in a military parade in Mecca. The parade portrayed training exercises of Saudi security forces taking on the armed attackers and tackling blazing buildings. And moving on now to some sports news, Krunal Pandya's all-round exploits and Rohit Sharma's characteristically sublime half-century powered India to a series-clinching 22-run win over the West Indies in the rain-affected second T20 international at Lauderhill on Sunday. Batting first, India scored a challenging 167 for 5 and then had West Indies in all sorts of trouble at 98 for 4 in the 16th over when lightning and thunder shower struck. The Duckworth-Lewis pass score at that point was 120 and the West Indies were 22 runs behind. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of the news. Thanks for being with us.